Welcome to another show vlog. It is literally 10 million degrees. I've just got the float out and I'm going to make some hay nets up, do some packing quickly because I don't want to ride yet while it is still, it is literally 40 degrees outside. So I am going to pack some hay nets, maybe clean my gear and just ride in my jumping saddle this afternoon because it's just too hot to ride at the moment. A little bit of progress. I have a couple of whips there. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to use a long dressage whip, so I'll take both in case. I have Missy's fluffy girth cover, some polos. In here, my bag of gloves, etc. This is my all-important show day kit. In here is my helmet. There is my saddle and bridle. I'm going to clean my saddle, work her in the jumping saddle, but I might have a little ride in this bridle because I'm going to put her in a snaffle rather than a D just because it's a bit neater. It's got the same peanut link on it, so I don't think it'll make a huge amount of difference to her. My boots, which definitely need cleaning. I have made a feed up for tomorrow. Karen got these great little baggies and they're so handy for shows. So here I have hay net, water bucket, feed bucket, show day kit, wash down kit, pooper scooper and broom. So I'm going to put all of that in there in the front section of my tack box and then just chuck the saddle in the car. Right, so my saddle's nice and clean. I've hung my bridle up there to ride her in it afterwards. Given my boots a little spruce up. Gonna put them back in the bag. Put my cover on my girth. And then I will pack the bag. Right, so my saddle's in, ready to go, and now I just have to pack up all this stuff. Oh, something, because I've got... We'll use them. She still thinks you got smoochies.
They're for tomorrow. You can have smoochies tomorrow. You have to trim it. You can't not look at it.
I cannot. It's dressage. I could always put a foot on it. So it is 5:30 in the morning and I'm just letting Georgie out. He's the last one. Everyone else is out in the paddock. I want to try and leave by about 6:30. So it gives me an hour to do some stable work and yeah, have a coffee. So I'm here with the girl and I'm just going to take her for a little look at the arena because it's a spooky arena. She's never seen anything this spooky before, so she's been so good. Ooh, ooh. Good girl. Good girly. So I'm just going to do a little bit of groundwork. They're not going to let me do any familiarization of the arena. There it is, but that's okay. I'll just let her have a little pick. There's a pretty spooky van right there and the killer huts of doom. And I'm going to have to do some plat resurrection because the band broke, which is so disappointing. The band's actually broken on this one too, and it's literally only the wool holding them together. So I'm going to have to re-stitch that up a little. So disappointed. I'm definitely going to have to buy some new bands before next weekend. So for my warm-up today, I started off with my stirrupines because the warm-up arena was quite busy and she was a little bit on her toes when we first went in there. But once I found myself in the arena with no other horses in it, I actually crossed my stirrupines over and rode her with no irons for a few minutes, just because I know that one thing that I do when I'm a little bit nervous and tense at a show is to pitch forward and really take my leg off and take my seat bones off. So I thought if I take my irons away, I'll sit a little bit deeper on her and be a bit more supporting for her. So I left Mazzy to get changed and she's still here and she's still happy. So I'm wrapped. She's been so good. Right, so we are all ready to go. Just gonna put her bridle on and hop on for my first test. Ooh. So this was my first test and it was the preliminary 1B, and overall I was quite happy with this test, although I did make a mistake. I thought that I was on at 20 past 10 and I was actually on at 10, so by the time I got down to the gear checker I actually only had one horse in front of me and I was the next horse in, so I didn't really get a chance to warm her up very much. I really wanted to have a little bit of time to warm her up. Although I had had a little ride on her that morning, I just wanted to watch a few tests and make sure I knew where I was going and everything, and I clearly didn't because I got an error of course here. I originally walked to X and I was supposed to walk to E, like you can see when I redid it. So I got a few marks taken off there. And I think just not really knowing my test well enough made me not ride her quite as well as I would have liked. I probably didn't prepare her for the transitions well enough, but overall she went really well. I was just a little bit disappointed in myself and my own kind of riding. Well, I do feel if I'd given her more than 5 minutes to warm up and I'd actually
learned the test a little
I'd
bit
learned
better.
the test better and I had not got the time that we were on wrong, she would have done, I mean, I was actually wrapped with the test.
If you listen to my commentary in the test, which was me going, good girl, clever move.
That's what I was like. I was like, I'm happy to throw away marks for talking in the test. I was like, good girl, Moosey. I literally was just like, oh my god, we got past the huts. And she was fine. She actually didn't really mind.
Life goal, get past huts.
Life goals, get past the huts. I was like, yeah, I couldn't have been happier.
Your Canada transitions, I know you're worried about them.
My Canada transitions were
They weren't
not bad.
They weren't
No,
bad.
they weren't bad. So hopefully, I mean,
It was
the
definitely
main
not
problem was,
exploded into Canada.
no, it was not exploded into canter. And like the only thing that I can fault is my terrible riding. I didn't, like, I have ridden 20 metre circles
You have
before.
ridden more accurate tests.
It was
before.
terrible. I was just guessing where I knew the basic pattern, but I had no idea where any of the transitions were supposed to be.
I should have got your mum to film it and I could have sort of subtly yelled at you.
Yeah. But when the judge was like, do you know the movement? I was like, no. She was like, it's to E. I was like, yeah, no, I genuinely thought it was to X. So. So this was my second test, which was the Novice 2B. And again, I was pretty pleased with this test. I think I rode this one slightly better, although still not super accurate with my circles, and I did tend to try and pull her around rather than supporting her with my leg, which resulted in a couple of inaccurate and messy circles. But all in all, I was so pleased with how she went today. The most of the comments that I got from the judge was just that she needs to be a little bit more up through the shoulder and a little bit more engaged and swinging from behind, which I can totally accept. But yeah, for the stage that she's at, I was actually really pleased with her work. She is sort of built a little bit downhill, so to come up it's quite difficult for her physically, and I think for her level she's doing a really good job. So one thing that Mare and I definitely need to do is practice test riding a little bit more. Our canter transitions were a bit tight and not exactly on the marker, which at home we don't really have too much trouble with. So I think that's just her needing to go out a little bit more and myself needing a little bit more practice at test riding. Here I just threw a few marks away by not half halting and setting her up quickly enough for the transition, so I got a late transition. It was supposed to be at F, but I think all in all we did a pretty good job considering we're both a little bit rusty. Karen and I were joking around that her first ever test she did when she came off the track, she did quite a tight canter transition and the judge commented, exploded into canter. So we didn't really have that, they were just a little bit tight, but overall, again, I was pretty happy with how she went.
How many times has she been out this year?
Once, and she hasn't done a dressage test in over a year. I'm so proud of you. What a superstar you are.
And it's easy to think about afterwards. Oh, I should have put my outside leg on. Shouldn't have pulled her around. Should have done this. Should have half held her more. But at the time,
I know. At the time, you don't even care. You're like, oh, I'm so glad I passed the huts. So we are back from the show, except it's the next day. I ran out of time to finish the vlog yesterday because I had to go and do a helper duty after my second test. So yeah, I was really pleased with the day. It went as well as I could have hoped for. I am so impressed with how much Mare has grown up in the last year. The last year's been a little bit tricky for me. I saved up for a new car and float, which has been fantastic, but it has meant that I haven't been able to show much this year. So she really hasn't had a lot of exposure, and she just handled everything so well yesterday. While I was gone from my helper duty for a couple of hours, she had to stand at the float on her own, and when I got back she was just there asleep, happy as can be. So I was so pleased with that. The tests were pretty good. I ended up on 63 in both tests, just missing out on a few silly marks like my error of course and some inaccurate riding in the prelim, and she ended up with 63 in the novice and came third. So all in all, I mean, the results didn't really matter. I just was so pleased for her to have a nice outing and a positive day. So yeah, I'm gonna give her a nice easy week. She has got a massage, very well deserved massage this afternoon, and I'm going to focus on Jackson because he has a show on the weekend. So next weekend will be another one up at the State Equestrian Centre for the millionth time this month. So stay tuned for my next show vlog.